Yo, what up? We're back. We're going to be doing the UFC on ESPN 5 breakdown. And we're just going to get right into it. But make sure to subscribe, comment, and check out the video I did for the Dana White Contender Series already. I put it up yesterday, so that's going to be going on tomorrow. Hopefully the lines for that will be dropping pretty soon. But we're going to jump right in now to this card. And the first fight of the night is Borella taking on Lauren Murphy. And Borella, she's coming off that upset victory of Taila Santos, and she's 2-1 in the UFC, so doing pretty well so far. She is flat-footed. She relies heavily on opponents' clones and distance where she can counter. But in her last fight, she was being a lot more aggressive, going forward and backing up Santos with, some straight punch combinations, and then getting in the clinch. And she likes to flurry a lot with 1-2s, close the distance. She's a little bit sloppy, and when she can't close the distance, she'll become low output and kind of plod into range. She only has 3 knockouts in her career, most of those on the mat, and she has been knocked out 3 times, so her chin is maybe a little bit questionable. She is very aggressive, she's physical, and she's going to want to duck under, get double underhooks, drive Murphy to the cage, and then put her on the ground, man. I mean, she doesn't like to shoot many takedowns from distance, so she has to close the distance to, get in on a takedown or have a fighter close the distance for her. And she doesn't have the fastest feet, so she can do a lot of reaching to get into the clinch, which, is easy to defend. But if she can get on top, she's very strong. She has heavy pressure, good pressure passes. She'll methodically work from half guard to mount to the back. And she has a very good rear naked choke, 4 submissions, and she has been submitted 1 time. This fight is really going to come down to who's the better grappler to me. I think Murphy doesn't have the foot speed or the striking to keep Borella off of her for the whole fight. I think it's going to be, Borella closing the distance, pushing her against the cage, and the battle is going to be won from there. If she can control there, land short punches, knees, get her takedowns, and she's probably going to have success win the fight. If she's very aggressive, like she was against Taila Santos, keeps her against the cage, then, she's going to have a good chance to win. Lauren Murphy, she's making a return. She was off for a pretty long time, over a year, 14 months, and she had a fight scheduled with Ashley Evans-Smith in February, but she had to pull out due to an injury. To me, Murphy's very tough, but just average. I mean, she has a good jab, nice jab left hook. She'll throw 1-2s, double jabs, double jab 2s, and she has a nice overhand right. She will throw occasional leg kicks, some head kicks at times. She mainly uses her hands on the feet, though, and she doesn't throw many combinations. She likes to stick and move more, and she doesn't have good hand speed or big power, and she struggles to keep these girls off of her, man. I mean, Sijara Eubanks, in her last match, she didn't respect her power at all. She was walking her down, throwing bombs. Murphy's very hittable. She doesn't move her head. She moves backwards almost kind of awkwardly, and she could definitely take a shot, though. She'll sit in the pocket and trade hooks, and she's very durable. She's never been finished. She has 7 knockouts, and most of her fights, though, she's finished with ground and pound. But Murphy, she's a pretty good wrestler. She sets up her singles and double legs with her strikes fairly well. She'll drive to the cage, chain wrestle. On top, she's active. She'll throw a lot of ground and pound. And she'll, usually likes to stay in the guard, but she'll slowly work to dominant positions and finishes the majority of her fights with ground and pound 7 out of the 10. She has no submissions. In her last match where she fought a grappler, though, she did well to me. She's big for the Eubanks is big for the division. That's who she fought. Eubanks is now at 135, and she's very strong. And Murphy was able to defend the majority of her takedowns, and she was active in her guard the couple times that she was taken down. She was attacking with triangles, using her rubber guard to control posture. She was manipulating Eubanks with butterfly guard as well, and landed some nice hammer fist elbows off her back. She landed a good up kick. She couldn't get up off bottom, though. And in this match, she's most likely going to have to defend takedowns again, and maybe even try to put Borella on her back, because we haven't really seen much of that. But Murphy comes to fight, man. She won't break. She won't back down. She has cardio to go hard 3 rounds, and she'll try to pot shot and move here. I'm not sure she can implement that game plan, but if she could stick and move, that's the way she could win. I think she'll try to time takedowns of her own, see how Borella is off her back. Santos was able to take her back in Borella's last fight, and she has been submitted before. If she gets taken down, Murphy should try to stand up, not hang out on your back and go for submissions. But I'm going to pick Borella here. I think she's going to be the aggressor. I think she's going to be the one dictating where the fight takes place. I'm not sure she can get takedowns, but I think she'll close the distance, control against the fence. I don't think Murphy will dominate the striking, and I think that Borella is a little bit faster. I just think she wants it more. I think she's going to be, going for it, and I'm going to say Borella via decision in this fight. Up next here we have a good fight with Matt Schnell taking on Jordan Espinoza. And Espinoza, he was successful in his UFC debut. He won a close decision over Eric Shelton, who is a tough fighter. And he's won 5 consecutive fights, including 2 finishes on the Dana White Contender Series. Espinoza, he's super fast. He's explosive. He has a hands-down style, likes to bounce around, jump in with shots. Really heavy jab, nice leg kicks. Really good straight and overhand rights. He'll throw a 1-2, really nice straight right hand to the body. And he has a nice check left hook going backwards. He dropped his last opponent with that shot. He will throw nice body and head kicks, and his head kicks come very fast. He has a nice head kick knockout of Nick Urso on the Dana White Contender Series. He'll throw the head kick after his 1-2s, and when he can't get the fight to the mat, and is being outstruck, though, he can panic a little bit. He could start to shoot takedowns and flop to his back. And he really wants to be all the way in or all the way out. He doesn't really have a lot of great boxing. And he is decent at, returning or slipping and returning. But he gets very hittable when opponents put pressure on him with longer punch combinations. The thing is, though, he's fast, he's explosive. And if you want to, play that game with him in the pocket, that's where he could potentially land on you. So it's risky, but he is susceptible there. He has 2 knockouts. He's never been finished with strikes. Espinoza, he's a former college wrestler as well. He has good jiu-jitsu skills. Doesn't tend to work in the clinch much, but he has nasty knees to the body. And he's just explosive with his double legs. He'll dig underhooks, land trip takedowns. He'll shoot singles as well. And on top, he has decent ground and pound, but mainly looking for submissions. Very good guard passing. You'll athletically jump from guard to side control. Very fast in the scrambles. He could float well on top. And I have seen him get taken down before, but overall I would say his takedown defense is strong. He can be push controlled against the cage. Off his back, he does do a good job scrambling, returning to his feet. He's always looking to get that Darce position, and that's his go-to submission. Very good at jumping on Darces after he hurts an opponent. 5 career Darces, 7 submissions. And he should look to put Schnell on his back here, work ground and pound. And Matt Schnell, he's routed off 3 consecutive wins in the UFC, and he's coming off the biggest win of his career versus Luis Smolka. He was able to submit Smolka, who is a respectable grappler. And Schnell is pretty technical as a striker. I would say he's going to be the more technical striker in the matchup. He's light on his feet. He has solid footwork, nice body and head jab, very nice straight right hand, throw a lot of right hooks. And he'll throw a double jab right hook or a double jab straight right hand. He has good leg kicks, oblique kicks. And he'll throw a straight right hand left uppercut. He has good hand speed. He closes distance pretty well with straight punches. And pretty good counters over the top, which are going to be essential in this fight if he's going to stop that forward pressure of Espinoza. He has nice head kicks, good front kicks to the body, to the head. And he does a good job catching and returning. Catching kicks and returning with punches, returning with takedowns. He's a strong counter striker. Like I said, he'll slip the jab, throw uppercut straight rights, slip the jab, come over the top with overhands right hooks. Really nice fadeaway left hook counters. Solid job of moving his head when he enters range, but it stays on center line too long at times after he throws strikes. And when fighters get inside on him, they can hit him clean with straight punches. He's not really good on defense in the dirty boxing range. He is a black belt in karate. He's fast in and out. He is a bit chinny, and if Espinoza lands clean, he could hurt Schnell. Schnell doesn't have a lot of power. Only 2 knockouts. Definitely going to be at the power disadvantage here. And he's been finished twice by knockout in his career. He is a good grappler himself. He does a good job getting double underhooks, pushing opponents to the cage. He'll shoot well-timed double legs, but he's really not an active wrestler. He kind of just likes to shoot takedowns to seal the rounds. Or in the 3rd round, he sometimes likes to wrestle as well. But he stands tall, and fighters get on his legs. Hector Sandoval, who has a similar style of movement, blitzing in to Espinoza, but probably not as athletic obviously, actually, definitely not as athletic in my opinion. And he was able to easily, take down Schnell with double legs. But Schnell has solid takedown defense against the cage. He'll attack with darts himself, but he can end up on his back attacking with the front chokes. And off his back, he will throw up triangles, arm bars. He did get a triangle in his last fight, but he got knocked out with very short hammer fists against Sandoval, looking for the triangle. And sometimes he'll attack with submissions at the expense of position. He can hold on to submissions for too long. Schnell does have good cardio. He can go all 3 rounds at the same pace, and he has 7 career submissions. He has been submitted twice. But for me, on this fight, he has to stay on his feet or be on top and just be more technical. He needs to work behind long punches, leg kicks, slow the movement at Espinoza. And Schnell has an excellent lead hook. He needs to walk Espinoza down, look to catch him as he closes his distance. And if he could time Espinoza as he's coming in, he could get a knockout victory here. I think this line is, fairly right, but maybe Espinoza should be slightly favored. Schnell is definitely more technical on the feet, and if he can walk down Espinoza, let his punches go, or feint him out and counter, he could overwhelm him. But Espinoza is decent at returning with shots, and I just feel like Schnell is less durable. I think that he's slower, and I think that Schnell's flat-footedness is going to get him in trouble here. I think that Espinoza is going to enter in with a big shot that can hurt him. And I think that Espinoza needs to blitz in, land a couple shots, then start working for takedowns if he can't take him out on the feet. Schnell was taken down by Schmolka, or no, he wasn't. He was taken down by Hector Sandoval, I'm sorry. And, I feel like Espinoza's wrestling and just ability to close distance is a lot better than Sandoval, even though they're similar. And Schnell was able to get that triangle off his back in his last fight. And if he could attack it back to his feet or stand up, he's going to be more successful. But if Espinoza gets cement position past the guard, I think he's going to have success and maybe finish the fight with ground and pounder. Probably not a submission unless he hurts him. I just have more faith that Espinoza's chins will hold up. I think that Espinoza has a chance to tag and hurt Schnell more likely than Schnell, especially if they exchange. And I think he's going to get takedowns. I don't think Schnell is going to get a finish unless he catches him clean and just knocks him out. But my pick will be Espinoza via 3rd round ground and pound KO here. And I'm thinking about playing Espinoza, but not positive yet. But fairly confident in this pick here. And up next here, we have Claudio Silva taking on Cole Williams. And, we kind of know the deal in this fight. Claudio Silva is going to be looking to run his UFC win streak to 5 wins, 5-0, which is pretty impressive. He was set to face a tough test here in Ramazan Emeev, but Emeev had to pull out. I think it was due to a visa issue, and Silva's now going to be facing Cole Williams. And Silva's a specialist, man. He's a grappling specialist, jiu-jitsu specialist. He's a southpaw. He'll look for 1-2s, round kicks, and throws kicks very heavy. And he does a good job of feinting level changes, then throwing the straight right hand or a long right hook. And he throws a lot of looping hooks. And he has power, so he kind of can earn your respect, but definitely gasses out if he can't get the takedown. Very hittable. And he has very good chin. I mean, he took some bombs in his last fight. Took some bombs in a lot of his fights, but somehow just gets a hold of these guys, gets them to the ground. And, very good grip strength when he gets a hold of you, man. It's just hard to get him off you. And then when he gets on top, very heavy on top. That old school methodical jiu-jitsu. In his last fight, Danny Roberts was able to reverse position, landed some big ground and pounds on Silva. But, most of the guys I don't see being able to get out of those submissions that Danny Roberts did. That was pretty impressive. He has good arm triangles, great mount, good back control. And, he was able to get an arm bar late on Danny Roberts. Showed a lot of heart in that fight. He has 8 submissions. And he's going to want to close the distance, get this to the ground like always. And he has a very taxing style. So if he can lean on Williams, hang on him. I see Williams, who's coming in here on short notice, probably getting tired. And I think if Silva gets a takedown, he's probably going to win the fight. Even if he doesn't submit Cole the first time he takes him down, I think he'll start to get him tired, take over, and probably get a finish later on. Especially if he could take Williams down consistently. But Cole Williams, he's 11-1. He's won 9 fights in a row. And he's had a bit of a weird career. He became a pro in 2008. He was 6-1. And he was fighting better competition then, 2008 to 2011, the first stint of his career. than he is now. He defeated a 10-0 fighter in 2011, but then he took 3 years off, and since he's returned in 2014, he is 5-0, but he hasn't fought great competition. He's still fighting very infrequently. He hasn't fought in 11 months. He's just fought twice in 4 years. And at 35 years of age, man, he has to make his run now to have any chance of a good UFC career. Cole Williams does look like a solid striker. He has a good jab, good low kicks, nice straight right hand, and looks powerful. Slips and rips. He has good uppercuts, but he holds his hands low, and he almost does it to kind of goad his opponents to throw so he could slip and counter. Does have good head movement, fast hand speed. He is hittable though, but he has a solid chin. He took some bombs in his last fight, continued to stay forward, or to come forward. Nice, I think his uppercuts are going to be what he's going to want to try to look for here to attack the level changes of Silva, or to counter the level changes. But, he has 4 knockouts. He's never been finished by strikes. And he looks to be a decent grappler. He looks physical. He looks like he has decent body locks. He'll control opponents in the clinch. He'll attack with punches off the break, long combinations. And he has solid timing on single legs, good doubles. Against low-level fighters, I've seen him get the takedowns, get dominant positions, and finish the fight. But his top control isn't the best. And he also wasn't able to get a takedown in his last fight against a guy who I believe was like 12-7 or something, Charlie Brown. He does have a flying armbar submission in his career. He has 4 submissions, and he was submitted in his 1 loss against Eric Wisely. I haven't seen much of his takedown defense or submission defense, which obviously is going to get tested here. To me, Williams has to go for broke in round 1, walk Silva down, get in his face, let his hands go, and just try to knock him out. If he can get Silva to panic wrestle, he could land an uppercut. But I'm going to pick Claudio Silva here. I think the first round could be dangerous because Williams is confident, he hits hard, he's going to come out fast in my opinion. I see him really going for it early. If he can't get the fight, or if he can't finish the fight, I think he's going to get submitted though. I don't think he's going to be the one to knock Silva out really. And my pick's going to be Claudio Silva, be a second round submission. Williams, from what I've seen, he gets tired in fights all the time, and now he's coming on short notice against a guy who's going to want to grind. The best grappler he's ever faced. And I just don't see his cardio holding up here. But, I mean, I do think that he could potentially win the fight if he could land a knockout early on. And, I mean, I don't think he's a bad fighter. I mean, I think he could maybe win some fights in the UFC, but it's hard to say due to the level of competition he's faced. So, the pick's definitely going to have to be Claudio Silva via second round submission here. And up next here, this is one of my more confident picks on the card. And, I'm going to be short and sweet here on this one. I think Holtzman just has a superior firepower. Ma likes to come out. He's always flat-footed. He stands right in front of Holtzman, or right in front of opponents, and he's willing to bang. And I just see him getting caught and taken out. In those type of fights, there's always a puncher's chance, but I don't think Ma hits hard enough to put Holtzman down. The one thing I will say is, Ma will switch stances, throw head kicks, throw front kicks up the middle to the head. And Holtzman, was getting hit with those kicks a little bit in his last fight. So that could be a way that he could potentially get the win here. But Ma just got knocked out in his last fight pretty badly by Devontae Smith. Like I said, he's very flat-footed. He just wants to stand right in front of guys. And I just think this is a tough matchup. I struggle to find a path to victory for him. He could try to work the clinch with his judo black belt, but that's not usually his game. And I just don't think his brawling style will fare well here. I think that Holtzman is the stronger guy. I think Holtzman will win the clinch exchanges, wrestling exchanges. If he gets on top of Mike, could finish the fight also there. So my pick's going to be Holtzman via first round knockout in this fight. And this is actually going to be my most confident pick on the card. So my pick's going to be Scott Holtzman here to get the win. And up next here, we have a really fun fight. I actually really like this fight on paper. It's motivated guys, 2 motivated guys. Trevin Giles coming off the first loss of his career. And Gerald Meerschaert, he on the last fight of his contract, he has 2 straight losses. So a loss here, man, could potentially get him booted out of the UFC for sure. But I mean, Meerschaert always comes, he always brings it. I would re-sign him even if he lost here. Because this is the hard matchup for Gerald, in my opinion, man. His last fight with Kevin Holland was just a very weird, awkward fight. I mean, Holland was clearly the superior striker. He was piecing him up on the feet with those long kicks, long punches. He hurt Meerschaert a couple times. Meerschaert's, taking a lot of damage to me standing up. And, Kevin Holland, just every single time he hurt him, he started clinching up with him. He allowed Meerschaert to get very easy takedowns. He didn't control distance well. And, it was a weird fight. It was kind of like a Kevin Holland fight where he gives the guy every chance to win, and they were exchanging submissions. But Meerschaert, even though he is a very good submission artist, he got close. He could never submit Holland, and he was allowing Holland to reverse, get on top, put him in submission attempts. And it was very close in the grappling where, you would think that Meerschaert would have an advantage if he got on top, but he couldn't, cement the position and keep it. And Trevin Giles, in his last fight, man, he, looked really good to me. I thought the first 2 rounds I thought that was one of the best Zach Cummings we've seen in the UFC, and he still was losing the first 2.5 rounds of the fight against Trevin Giles just because he couldn't hit him, man. But Zach Cummings that guy's a beast, dude. He was taking some bombs in that fight. He was eating some big shots. He ate a ton of hammers, dude. Meerschaert's very hittable himself. I just don't think Meerschaert is going to be able to eat those same type of shots if Giles lands him. Those long 1-2s, those hooks. He was landing some bombs on Zach Cummings, man. Real big shots. And Cummings was just eating them, continuing to walk forward, throwing hammers himself. And Giles is doing a great job of moving. He's just super athletic, super fast. And Zach Cummings really couldn't hit him very much the first 2 rounds, but you could tell that Zach Cummings kept that shot that he landed cocked, man, and he was throwing it all the time, and it was just barely missing, where Giles was just getting right out of the way. In the 3rd round, he landed it and dropped him, caught him in that guillotine, and took him out, man. But I'm still high on Trevin Giles. I feel like that was his first fight in a while, so he maybe would suffer a little bit of ring rust, I do think he looked pretty good still, but that was his first fight in over a year where he took time off for the police academy. His son, or I don't know if he had a son or daughter, I'm sorry, but his baby that was born. And so now he's coming back just a few months after his last fight. So I feel like he's going to be back in the groove of things. He's going to be focused. He's going to be ready to go. And I just feel like, he's a good counter striker. He could strike moving backwards. He hits very hard, and I just feel like Meerschaert isn't going to be able to take those same shots that Zach Cummings did. I think that Trevin is going to take him out here over the 3 rounds. I think that Meerschaert's just very aggressive on the feet. He throws a lot of those big body kicks, but I don't think he has great boxing. I don't think that, he's really going to be able to land those kicks, man. I think that when he throws those kicks, he's going to get countered with the straight punches. I think as he tries to close the distance, he's going to be countered. And I think he's just going to get knocked out. The thing about it is Trevin Giles does have questionable takedown defense in the past. We saw that against a guy like Ryan Spann. And if he gets taken down here over and over, it could be an issue for him. But I think that he's going to be too fast. I think Meerschaert's going to struggle to get inside on him. And it's not like Meerschaert's an elite level wrestler. So, I'm leaning towards Trevin Giles here to get the victory. And I'm going to say he gets a early 2nd round knockout in this fight. And up next here we have a really fun fight with Antonina Shevchenko taking on Lucy Pudilova. And it's 2 strikers, but the thing is, man, if you look at Lucy's social media, you always see her training wrestling, training grappling, and this may be the first time that she might come out here and try to show it off. So she could throw a wrinkle or throw a wrench into this fight and go for takedowns, which would be a smart game plan. She does always try to get in the clinch and work from there, which I feel like could give Antonina Shevchenko issues. At range, Shevchenko's going to be the superior striker. I feel like Lucy has a very good jab. She hits hard. She's very aggressive. And Antonina's just going to be more technical. She's good at the clinch with her striking. And she hits hard and she's pinpoint as well. She's piecing up Modafferi with some nice shots. But the thing is, man, I think that her chin maybe is a little bit questionable because Roxanne doesn't hit very hard, and her eyes are getting a little bit big when Roxanne was landing some shots on her, some 1-2s, and Roxanne was having some success with forward pressure, walking through her punches, and she was never dropped. She was rocked a couple times, and it did seem like she needed the takedowns to secure the fight. But, she was able to have some limited success on the feet. And I feel like Pudilova is going to bring that same type of pressure. Even if she doesn't bring that same type of grappling pressure, it's going to be striking pressure. I think she's going to be able to walk through the shots the exact same as Pudilova. And Shevchenko can't allow herself to get backed up towards the cage in this fight. She has to be better with her lateral movement. She has to maybe even be the one trying to go forward. But it's going to be hard to push a girl like Lucy Pudilova back, in my opinion, man. And I feel like Lucy's nasty, man. She's someone that's willing to go in there and brawl, go for it. And I do think she's going to implement sort of a grappling game plan. I think she definitely has the better cardio, and I think she throws the more volume. So I think that what's going to be happening in this fight is Shevchenko maybe early on is going to piece her up, be a little more technical, but as the fight goes on, you're going to see Lucy start to land her jab, start to go forward more, start taunting, getting confident, pressuring, landing some bigger shots. And I think she is going to try to level change, get takedowns, get in the clinch, work some elbows, some knees from there. And I feel like if she can get a couple takedowns, or if she can get some clinch control time, she's going to be able to win the decision in this fight. I also feel like she's going to be able to hurt Shevchenko more likely than Shevchenko's going to be able to hurt her. I don't think that Shevchenko's going to be able to rock or drop Lucy. I feel like Lucy has the potential to do that to Antonita. So this is a close fight. I really wouldn't touch this fight, even though, I am picking Pudilova. She is the underdog. But, man, I always feel like she wins her fights and the judges never give her the decision. Like Liz Carmouche, that fight was very close. Liz got the takedowns, but she didn't do anything with the takedowns. I thought that she easily won that Lita Landsberg fight, the Aldana fight. I thought she won. So, it's hard to bet on her after I think she wins and she still loses on the judges' scorecards. So, the pick is going to be Lucy Pudilova, but probably won't have any action on this fight. And I'm going to say that Pudilova is able to win a hard-fought decision here. Man, up next here, Mickey Gall. He's back, baby. He definitely lost some luster. 2 of his last 3 fights he's lost. And he started his career 3-0 in the UFC with 3 rear naked chokes. Obviously, 2 of the opponents he's defeated, we don't even have to discuss. But he's coming off a beatdown at the hands of Diego Sanchez. Finished for the first time in his career. And he's back in New Jersey for this camp. He had a couple camps in California. He's training with Jim Miller, who's also prepping for this card. So he has a good body to work with there. But I heard in an interview he was talking about wanting to be in Jersey for the summer to, hang out with his friends, go out. And there's nothing wrong with that, but maybe he's not fully invested. He's still green, man. And in his last fight, he landed some decent shots early. He threw some nice kicks, straights, uppercuts. And he showed some power. He dropped Mike Jackson, Sage Northcutt with the right hand. But, he doesn't gauge distance well. He gets tagged up. He doesn't know how to strike moving backwards. Seems to get very uncomfortable when he gets back towards the fence. Doesn't mind getting hit. He'll brush it off and act like he doesn't feel it. But, that confidence can only take you so far if you're getting tagged on the chin. He doesn't have any knockouts. And, he's finished by strikes for the first time in his career in his last fight. And I would say Gall is, a good but not great grappler. He's not a great wrestler. He does have some okay single and double legs. And in top position, he's very aggressive, and he's always looking to take the back. So he moved to side control. He'll grab the neck, look to attack with the guillotine potentially, or take the back. He'll mount, force opponents to turn with ground and pound. And when he gets the back, he has been able to finish 5 of his 6 wins, I believe, via rear naked choke, or maybe all 5. I think he's finished all 5 of his wins by rear naked choke, but he was finished by ground and pound in his last fight. His takedown defense is terrible, man. Almost non-existent. I don't really think he's going to have to worry about that much in this matchup, but Sage Northcutt was able to stand up from under him a couple times. Randy Brown controlled him on top. He's a good submission fighter, but he's not a lead or anything. And, he's going to come forward, use his size, his speed advantage to try to back Touahri up and get it on the legs. If he gets on top and takes the back, he definitely has a chance to finish. Touahri, he's in search of his first UFC win. He lost his first two UFC fights, but he's fought two very good guys. They beat Warlley Alves, Guida Nakamura. Those are OG vets, and he's getting a completely opposite matchup here against a young prospect. And, prior to the UFC, Salim had a lot of flashy finishes, so Touahri is going to want to keep it standing here. He definitely has the better striking, and he has a nice jab, body head, good left hook. He'll throw the left hook to the body also, and he'll throw a nice left hook right straight to the body. I feel like his body attack in this fight is going to pay dividends because, in a lot of Mickey Gall's fights, he gasses out very quickly, and Touahri has nice uppercut counters. He can land him moving backwards. Heavy inside leg kicks, good body and head kicks. Decent footwork. He likes to circle away from his opponent's power hand. In his last match, though, he was being a lot more flat-footed, throwing feints, trying to draw out counters. His defense is not very good. He doesn't move his head. His chin is high. And when he comes in with the left hook, if you could slip and return or come over the top, you could connect flush and hurt him. He did get dropped by Nakamura in his last fight. But, Touahri does have a good chin. He'll recover quickly. He's taken some big shots against Warlley Alves, Nakamura, who are clearly better strikers than Mickey Gall. But the thing is, man, Mickey Gall does throw that right hand wild. So if he could land it, maybe he could drop Touahri as well. But Touahri has been knocked out only one time. He has 6 knockouts. He showed some big power on the regional scene. And he isn't a grappler, but he definitely showed good takedown defense in his last fight. And he's training in another camp here at American Top Team. It should look even better. He knows Gall's going to be looking for the takedown, so his camp should have emphasized that during training. He will stuff takedowns with double underhooks, break off the clinch with knees. And he'll also try to control opponents against the cage, land short knees to the body there. And he usually only does that to recover after he takes a big shot or to rest. But he was able to stop all the takedowns of Guida Nakamura, who's a great fighter. He's a black belt, and he's someone that really likes to take the back. And when he was taken down by Warlley Alves, who's also a black belt, he was able to use the cage to get back to his feet. He's good at popping back up after he's taken down. And to me, he just needs to avoid the wild shots of Gall, walk him down, stuff the takedowns. And he's clearly the better striker. He should win the exchanges. Gall gassed out quickly in his last fight, and against a good body puncher like Touahri that may, be able to get a finish with body punches. I'm going to go Touahri here, man, all day. I think his striking, his movement is much better. He should have the takedown defense, keep it on the feet. I see him landing the straight punches, a lot of body shots. And I think early on, Gall's going to try to come out fast. But Touahri's going to, weather the storm, if there is a storm, or kind of just weather that frenetic pace that Gall was put on in the beginning and start to land, walk him down, take over the fight. And I'm going to say he gets a late second or third round knockout in this fight, either with body shots or a devastating a devastating knockout to the head. So my pick's going to be Salim via finish in this fight. And up next here, I really don't like this fight, but it's Darko Stoic taking on Kenny Nzechukwu. And a lot of people were picking Darko in his first UFC fight against Devin Clark. But I picked Clark, and Clark got the win. He's snapped his 9-fight win streak. And Stoic, he's a power guy. He has solid punching power. But he's just flat-footed. He's low volume. He's a counter striker. He has some powerful low kicks. Big power in his right hand. He'll counter with straight overhand rights. He'll try to counter over the top with left hooks. But he really struggles with quick fighters who can stick and move. And he almost is just frozen in front of guys as they land and get out. I mean, Devin Clark, who's not even a great striker, was able to look like fucking Muhammad Ali in the second round against this guy. He was like landing jabs and moving out the... I mean, Stoic probably threw 10 punches in like 4 minutes on the feet in that round. Probably, I don't even think he landed one strike on the feet in round 2 at all. I can't remember. He was getting frustrated. He was trying to goad Clark into brawling, but Clark was just pot-shotting and moving, and he couldn't do anything about it. But Clark was definitely respecting his power. He wasn't engaging in boxing rage. And Stoic loads up on all his shots, and he's explosive, man. He really lands his best shots in the clinches and off the breaks. He'll explode in with big hooks. And in the last 30 seconds, I'll give him credit, he tried to take Clark out. If he showed that aggression more often, he would be a much better fighter. But I'm just not sure he has the cardio for that. He does have a good chin. He'll eat shots, continue to come forward. But he did get dropped by a jab against Clark. And he has been finished once in his career by TKO. He has 8 knockouts, and if he lands one of those haymakers, he will put you out. He is the better grappler in this fight for sure. He's solid in the clinch. He gets double underhooks. He'll attack with hard elbows, explosive combinations off the break. He'll open up with heavy straights, hooks, and he has strong takedown defense. He was able to defend almost all the takedowns of Devin Clark, who's a college wrestler in his last fight. He was able to get a big explosive double leg slam on him, and he has good top pressure, good ground and pound elbows. He doesn't really look to pass much. He just stays inside the guard and works from there. If you force Stoic to work in the grappling, though, as far as defending takedowns or having to stand up from under somebody, he gets very tired, and, you'll just pretty much gas out and not do anything. He isn't a submission threat. He only has 1 in his career. And in this fight, Stoic isn't going to have to worry about someone shooting on his legs. He's probably going to be able to try to, clinch and put Kennedy against the cage himself even. And Stoic struggled with Clark's ability to change levels as he tried to get inside, and he definitely got tired defending the takedowns. Stoic in this fight is going to need to be the fighter going forward. He can't allow himself to get backed up being that kicking range of Nzechukwu. He has to try to slip, come over the top with counters, put him against the cage. And as a guy who's already struggled with pot shotters, he's now going to be fighting a guy who's pretty athletic and has a 7-inch reach advantage on him. But if Stoic can get top position, you'll probably have a big advantage. And I see him having the most success with his short-range power, explosiveness against the cage. If he can get takedowns, I could see him taking a decision. But if this is a stand-up fight, I think he's going to need a knockout to get the win here. Nzechukwu, he suffered his first loss in his UFC debut. And he was winning the fight versus Paul Craig, but he fell victim to that vintage late-round triangle that Paul Craig has. He's still green, man, but he's training at a great gym. Fortis MMA. He's a great athlete. 6'5", 83-inch reach. And he's a southpaw. He likes to use his lead hand to control distance. He'll drop his straight left hand in. Good jab. Good right hook. And he has a really nice rear leg attack. So he'll throw a strong body and head kicks, step in knees. Good forward pressure. He cuts the cage off well. But he's really only looking to throw the straight left hand and kick standing up with any, fight any intentions. He does have solid defense. He's composed. He hasn't gotten hit much from what I've seen in his career. But he can be very low volume. He could just walk opponents down, not throw much. And he's always trying to maintain range with his lead hand. So he eye pokes a lot. He got a point taken in his last fight after 3 eye pokes. He looked like he was getting distracted by the fouls. He was arguing with the ref. And he needs to have a cleaner performance this time out, not let himself get mentally checked out. He has a lot of physical advantages on the feet. Size, quickness, athleticism, cardio. And he has okay power, but with his knees, his kicks, he can end anyone's night with that. He has 4 knockouts and 6 wins. He isn't a grappler, but I would say he's improving rapidly in that aspect. Even though he's submitted in his last fight, he showed major strides in his wrestling. He was able to defend all the takedowns of Paul Craig. And he was able to make Craig pay for a double leg against the cage with the elbows. He cut him open. When Paul Craig would pull guard, Nzechukwu was able to show some nice ground and pound from top position. Big hammer fist, big elbows. And for the most part, I would say he won the grappling exchanges. But I still doubt he's very good off his back. I don't think he's going to want to be there in his fights. He showed some poor fight IQ, also staying on the ground with Paul Craig, and obviously he paid for it late. He was caught in that triangle. And it's no shame getting submitted by Paul Craig. I actually thought Kennedy fared well considering his experience level. But he's not a submission threat. He has no submissions. And that was his lone loss of his career there. So that was the first submission loss that he's had. He has great cardio and he will walk opponents down. And he needs to make Stoic go backwards, control the center, push the pace. Look to attack the legs, the body of Stoic early with kicks to slow him down, take away some of his power, explosiveness. And you should, show him the knee, make him hesitant and try to clinch. Use his jabs, straight punches, kicks, movement. And you'll probably have to defend some takedown attempts. But Stoic, doesn't have good cardio, so I don't think he's going to be trying to grind. I think the more likely fighter to get a knockout would be Stoic. But if Kennedy can get a knockout, I see it being with a knee. I'm leaning towards Kennedy, but this is a 50-50 fight to me. Kennedy has the tools to make it an easy win with his range, his kicking ability. But will his inexperience cost him here is really the question. If he lets his mind wander on the feet like he did his last fight, he could end up, looking up at the lights, knocked out. He can't get backed up towards the fence or taken down. I will say that he uses cardio, forward pressure, and his kicking game to win a decision. but I'm not confident. But the pick's going to be Kennedy and Nzechukwu via decision here. And up next year, we actually have a really good fight. Two undefeated young prospects here, and you're starting to see now these female fighters coming into the UFC that have a lot of talent, and they're actually, I think these two girls could beat a lot of girls in the UFC at 125 already, even though they're both at 115. Hannah Goldy's already defeated Jillian Robertson, who's in the UFC currently and has the most wins in this division's history. So, yeah, but in this fight, it's an interesting fight because Miranda Granger is going to be making her UFC debut here. She's 6-0 with 6 submission finishes on the regional scene. And this girl's really dangerous in the clinch, man. That's where she gets a lot of her submissions. She'll grab onto that neck, get the guillotine. Really good guillotine. And she's pretty good, man. I would say she's a solid fighter for sure. She, she has fast hand speed. Good jab, good left hook. She'll throw that 1-2, a jab, right hook. And she likes to throw 2 or 3 straight right hands in a row to close the distance. She'll throw outside leg kicks, some round kicks to the body as well. And overall, her striking isn't the greatest. She'll reach a lot to try to get in the clinch. And she isn't the fastest with her footwork. She's stationary at times in her movement. And she looks a bit hittable, but no opponent has made her pay yet. She has 1 TKO, which happened on the ground, and she's finished all of her fights on the mat or in the clinch. She is 6-0. She is a dangerous grappler, like I said. She likes to use her punches to close the distance, get double underhooks, nice knees to the body, to the head in the clinch, and she gets those standing guillotines, like I said, John Jones style, great squeeze. She's gotten 2 of those in her last 3 fights, and when she gets a hold of that neck, she'll also attack with knees to the head. But she doesn't look to be the physically strongest fighter. Her wrestling isn't great, and fighters seem to be able to reverse her, outmuscle her. Jamie Colleen was able to get a body lock takedown. Granger is really good off her back, though. She has a nice guard. She throws up submissions, good arm bars, and she'll look for body lock takedowns herself. She has good rear naked chokes, and she likes to use her length on the feet to take the back standing also. Overall, she doesn't look for many takedowns. She does look good in scrambles, but she doesn't have the greatest top control. She's more of a fighter who likes to, flow, scramble on the ground until she can get a dominant position or a submission. She's very dexterous with her legs. She can take top position in weird ways, man. Like when she fought Jamie Thornton, she was on bottom in north-south position. She was able to use her legs to, roll over, get her hooks in, flatten Thornton out, and finish the fight with strikes in the mount. She kind of reminds me of Cynthia Calvillo on the ground a bit. She has 5 submissions, 2 arm bars, 2 guillotines, a rear naked choke. And if she can create grappling situations, she's dangerous everywhere, whether she's in the clinch, on top, on bottom. She's definitely going to be looking to close the distance, make it a grappling match. Her striking isn't bad, and maybe she even has the smoother technique than Goldy. But I do think Goldy's faster. She's more aggressive coming forward, and she maybe hits a little bit harder. Hannah Goldy, she comes into this fight 5-0. And, I would say, her striking is okay, but she's definitely aggressive, and she throws in combination. She's very, ripped. She's almost like a bodybuilder type physique. And, she almost is like RoboCop-ish and stiff in her movements because of that. So she's a little bit plodding, but when she gets inside, she has fast hand speed. She'll let go with big combinations, straight punches, mixes hooks, uppercuts. And if you just stand in the pocket and trade with her, she has power, a good chin, nice leg kicks, really nice inside leg kicks. She'll throw kicks to the body, side kicks, and she isn't quite as fluid with her kicks. Overall, her striking, I would say, is still pretty basic. In her last fight, she was getting tagged with some shots, hard shots, and she doesn't really move her head. She'll also hold her hands low, pull back with her chin high. She isn't going to be able to get away with her style against higher level opponents. Definitely needs to improve. But what she does have, though, is tremendous heart cardio. She breaks fighters with constant pressure combinations. She's strong in the clinch. She has nasty knees to the body, good body locks. And in this fight, I don't see her going for takedowns. But she does have very good ground and pound. And she has good takedown defense, man. She does a great job of, attacking with knees, disengaging, snapping opponents down with the front headlock, good sprawl. And when she was taken down in her last fight, she was able to, stand back up, and that was against a decent fighter on the ground in Callie Robbins. This is actually a very close fight for me to call, but the fact that this fight is at 125 pounds to me favors Hannah Goldy, because Granger, like I said, at 115, I felt like she was getting a little bit out-muscled, out strength, and Hannah Goldy's like a muscle builder type girl, and she is going to be having the luxury of 10 more pounds. She's going to be even stronger in this fight, so I feel like she's going to probably be able to deny these takedown attempts, the entries of Granger, and just throw the more volume, land the more impactful shots on the feet. But both these girls are really good, and I think it's a close fight. I agree with the line, actually. And my pick's going to be Hannah Goldy via decision in a close competitive fight there. And up next here, we have Joaquim Silva taking on Meerschaert Haqparast. And Silva, he has fast hand speed, wide stance, likes to walk opponents down, slide in and out of range. Really good straight right hand. He throws big, wide hooks, solid round kicks to the legs, body, head. And when opponents stand in front of him, or he could back him up, he's very dangerous. He has very fast straight punch combinations. He'll mix big concussive hooks, uppercuts in, and he'll mix it up to the body. He does load up on a lot of his shots, and he needs his feet planted to be successful. When opponents can move and strike, he kind of struggles. He becomes low volume. He doesn't have great defense, but he's a very good chin, and he almost lets opponents get confidence by hitting them, and then boom, he'll catch him and knock him out. Due to his flat-footedness at times, he can be taken down fairly easily. He has a decent sprawl, but his get-ups are excellent. Very hard to hold down, and he has dangerous sweeps and submissions. He was taken down several times in his last fight, but he was able to attack with a nasty leg lock that tore Jared Gordon's hamstring. He doesn't look for takedowns. He only has one in his UFC career, and he struggles with fighters who can effectively pressure him backwards, stick and move. He doesn't have the best gas tank, but he did get a nasty knockout in the third round in his last fight. He's improving with his cardio, his pacing. He has 7 knockouts, 3 submissions. He has been submitted once by Glyco França. And for Meerschaert, he's going to be the much faster fighter here with the better footwork. Definitely has better boxing, more variety in his hands. He'll feint much more. He uses jab to set up combinations a lot better, in my opinion. He's a southpaw. He has very good forward pressure. The volume that Haqparast will throw will be much higher than Silva's. Very good jabs, nasty straight left hand, very good right hook. Cuts the cage off just extremely well, and when he can back an opponent up, he'll close distance with hard combinations. His combinations off his straight left hand are nasty, man. He's extremely fast. Very nice low kicks, front kicks to the body. The main issue right now with Haqparast is pacing. He'll go out in the first round really hard for the finish, and he can get a bit tired. Even in his last fight, though, against T-Ball Goldy, he showed a good ability to strike moving backwards. And I don't expect either fighter to bring it to the mat in this fight. It's going to be a stand-up fight, and Haqparast definitely has a killer instinct. When he hurts you, he'll go for the kill. He has 8 knockouts, but he's still looking for the first one in the UFC for him. The way I see this fight going down is Haqparast going forward, feinting, trying to stay in and out, stick and move. He has Firas Zahabi in his corner. They're going to have a good game plan. And when he starts to land combos, get some damage on Silva, then start to land the longer combination, stay in the pocket more, I think that Haqparast is going to be too clever with his striking and start to pick him apart. He's going to have a big speed advantage. And Silva's dangerous. He can't trade in the pocket with him or gas himself out going for the finish. I think that Silva is going to be planting his feet, swinging. And when he does, he's going to be countered. I think that Haqparast is actually going to get his first TKO finish. Second round TKO here for Meerschaert Haqparast. Up next here, I have a fight that I'm surprised hasn't already gone down, with Clay Guida taking on Jim Miller. I mean, both these guys are super OGs, man. I mean, they've been in the game for years. I think Jim Miller, he's fought 30 times in the UFC, 19-11. Clay Guida, 15-12 in the UFC. So both these guys have fought, well over 25 times in the UFC, I believe so. Yeah, over 25 times in the UFC, so that's crazy. But Jim Miller, he's been on an uptick lately. He's won 2 of his last 3 fights by first-round rear naked choke, and he's fighting another fighter from his era now in Clay Guida. And Guida, he didn't look very good in his last fight. He defeated BJ Penn via decision, but a lot of people gave BJ Penn a round in that fight. Guida took some shots, and he still won 3 of his last 4 fights, so Probably get a top 50 to 25 opportunity with the win here. And I feel like it's hard not to go into a fight underestimating BJ Penn at this point. And I think he's going to be better tuned up now. But Miller is the better striker here. He's going to be looking to keep it on the feet. Guida's going to be trying to get the takedowns. Miller, for being a good black belt and a submission artist, he struggled versus wrestlers a lot over his career. He's lost to Diego Sanchez, Pat Healy, Mike Chiesa. Most recently, he had a close split decision with Joe Lozon that I thought was very questionable, where he was out-grappled. Miller is at his best when he can go forward, get inside, use his inside-outside leg kicks. His right hook is straight and overhand left. And he's good at exploding into his straight punches to the body, then going up to the head. He'll use his blitzes to the body to set up his doubles later in the fight. And he's very good at getting the back, getting the rear naked choke. And he's had 2 of those in his last 3 fights. He'll throw some nice body head kicks. He tends to get taken down a lot off those body kicks, though. Fighters can catch him and take him to the mat. And he can make mistakes when opponents pressure. He could, throw spinning attacks too close. And he ends up on his back a lot. When he gets pushed against the cage, he doesn't have the greatest takedown defense there either. He'll defend takedowns with the front choke. He has a good guillotine. He'll use the front choke attack to snap opponents down, circle to the back. And he will try to create scrambles immediately when he's taken down. But when you cement top position on him, he tends to struggle, especially if he could pass his guard. When he's in the guard, he will try to work the rubber guard, but it's more about controlling position. He'll try to just grab the head, control posture. It mitigates damage, but it keeps him defensive on his back. He will allow opponents to pass to mount to the back, and Miller tends to slow down in fights. Guida doesn't stop coming, so the third round, if it gets there, will probably be a Guida round for me. Miller does have a good double leg takedown himself. If he can get on top of Clay, Guida will be in trouble. Miller's nasty on top, very aggressive with submissions. Guida has notoriously been bad with takedown defense. Miller, yes, or with submission defense, not takedown defense. Miller has 16 submissions, and I think Miller is more durable than Guida, but Guida moves much more. He's going to be trying to be in and out, land some shots, get in on the legs, push him to the fence, push the pace, and Guida needs to make Miller work early, get him tired, more flat-footed, easy to get in on. If Guida could get takedowns, I see him having top control, wearing on Miller. He was getting hit with some counter overhands against Penn, and he kept the fight mostly on the feet there. Here I see him trying to get takedowns, grind much more. The first round's going to be a danger round for Guida for me. Miller's going to come hard, look to drop, hurt Guida, get a takedown, get the submission early, take the back. The thing is, most people sub Guida off their backs. He's hard to take down. I think Miller will have to hurt him with punches to get on top. But Guida has a better cardio. If he can start to implement his game, he's going to start to pull away as the fight goes on. And on the feet, I think Miller's going to have quite a big advantage. He's probably going to piece Guida up unless he gets tired. This, to me, when I first saw the matchup, I was thinking it's an easy fight for Miller. But after watching some fights, just, rewatching some stuff, I don't think that anymore. Miller can be taken down, and Guida has a good chance here. I don't see Miller catching Guida off his back. So Miller has to keep it standing, create scrambles, try to take the back of Guida right away. Because if he gets put on his back and cemented there, I think Guida's going to be able to hold him there and land some damage. I think if this fight goes to the decision, it's going to be a 50-50 fight, with Guida having more control, Miller having more damage. Guida has been submitted 9 times in his career, and he has to be on, on top in this match to win. I'm struggling to pick a winner here. I think round 1, Miller's definitely going to have a chance to hurt and submit Guida. But if he gets taken down, he could get tired. Guida could take over. I'm going to pick Jim Miller to win via first round finish in this fight, via rear naked choke or guillotine. But I think that if it goes to the scorecards, it could be a split decision. I see this fight being Guida, maybe taking some shots early, but eventually catching a kick, getting Miller to the ground, starting to take the fight over, and Miller starting strong in the rounds but getting taken down. But even if it goes to decision, since it's in New Jersey, I would say Miller would maybe take like a split decision. So my pick's going to be Miller via first round finish, but not super confident in this fight, and definitely not as confident as I was when I initially saw the matchup. So yeah, I would stay away from this fight. Oh shit. Man, I'm fucking pumped for this fight, man. Like, this is one of the fights I've been looking forward to the most of the whole year. I don't know what it is, but A lot of people dislike Colby Covington, don't like his thing, but man, I mean, you can't say he doesn't bring the fucking drama. He doesn't bring a good show, man. I mean, he's even attacking Robbie Lawler. No one attacks, like, even Ben Askren wasn't attacking Robbie Lawler. Colby doesn't give a fuck. I mean, he'll attack all these dudes. He's not gonna, stop talking. He's not gonna stop running his mouth. So it's fun. It's a show, man. You get to. I think he was talking about on Ariel's show today. You're really gonna see a lot of pro wrestling on Saturday. So I don't know what that means necessarily. He was talking about Kurt Angle. So maybe he's gonna come out with like the "You Suck" song. Who the fuck knows, man? But it'll be anything with Colby's gonna be at least entertaining to me. I mean, some people might say it's not entertaining, but he's finally set to return to action, and he's taking on Bob Lawler, man. Violent Bob Lawler, who's fucking coming in here with a chip on his shoulder as well, with Colby talking a lot of shit. He's had this beef with Dan Lambert a little bit, and America Top Team, he obviously left the camp. Colby's talking about that. He left because of a picture, all of that. So there's a little bit of heat in this fight, but Colby's finally set to return to action, and he hasn't fought in over a year. So he's only fought one time in almost 2 years also, but that was the belt win where he won the interim title against Rafael dos Anjos. And prior to that, that was in June of 2018. Prior to that, he hadn't fought since October 2017. So, he hasn't been very active, but definitely is motivated here. With the win, he'll probably be getting a title shot. And this is an interesting fight because Covington loves to walk opponents down. So does Robbie Lawler. And it's going to be interesting who goes forward here or how Colby reacts to getting pushed back. Colby's striking is just not very good. He likes to throw a lot of kicks, lunge in with punches to get a hold of opponents. I expect him to try to use a lot of leg kicks in this fight. I think Colby, though, is going to be looking to control the center, use his front kicks, leg kicks to back Robbie up, then shoot in on him against the fence. And, he may try to get singles in space because Robbie can be taken down with those. But Covington has great pressure, control. When he gets opponents in the clinch against the cage, he'll start to chain wrestle, wears opponents out, zap their energy, start to work them to the mat. And he can start to hold fighters down, especially against the cage, but he's good at staying connected, mat returning them. And if they stand up, he'll slowly zap their cardio. And in the clinch, it's going to be interesting because if Colby can just hang out and rest there, then he's going to have success. But if Robbie starts to make him pay with those nasty knees to the body, with those elbows, those short punches, like he did against Johnny Hendricks, then he could be winning those positions, and Colby can't get that rest time. Robbie's excellent at sprawling against the cage, pushing the head down, landing those hard shots to the body, to the head, and those are typical stalemate positions. And in this fight, he may not be able to do that. RDA was able to, was allowing Colby to back him up the whole fight. And the short periods he was controlling the center, he would land some big shots himself. Colby's going to most likely win the volume game, even on the feet. He'll throw punches and bunches, even though they don't have power, and they're a bit sloppy. He makes you defend something, look at something so he can get in on the legs or get in on the clinch. But Robbie, especially in recent years, has tried to pace himself in 5-round fights. He'll explode early, then kind of cruise, let his opponents use energy, try to steal the fights at the end. In his last match, he fought a similar opponent with much better wrestling credentials than Ben Askren, and he picked him up over his head, he dumped him, almost finished him, and then he was submitted in controversial fashion. No matter how the fight ended, man, it looked like vintage Robbie Lawler was back, and that was probably the best I've ever seen Robbie look in shape. Colby's been talking about that too, kind of like, not saying steroids, but, really, really hinting at it. But, Robbie's going to be trying to back him up too, man. He has a nasty jab, much better hands, heavy head kicks, and he's going to try to back Colby up, make Colby work against the fence. When Colby tries to clinch up, use those knees, disengage, similar to the Hendricks fight. Those knees to the body that he was landing on Johnny Hendricks were devastating, man. And Robbie will do that, but he'll also just take time off at times where he'll not really do much, but just stand right in front of opponents. And he allows her to get off on combinations and defends takedowns, gives away rounds. He can't do that here, man. He needs to, use his takedown defense, go forward. I don't see Covington being able to hold Robbie down or do much damage to Robbie overall, man. To me, Colby isn't going to finish Robbie. He's going to need to be on him against the cage, taking him down, making him work, be, on his legs, making him just outworking him all night in the clinch against the cage. At least versus RDA, there was not much striking going on. It was just RDA denying the takedowns, Colby leaning on him. Robbie's much better at creating those striking opportunities against the cage, like I said. And if Robbie outvolleys him there and Colby can't control him on the ground, he may be shit out of luck, man, because at range, Robbie's going to be beating the shit out of this guy with leg kicks, big body kicks, punches. And I just don't see Colby being the one going forward. I think he's going to struggle with controlling the center of the cage. I see him trying to work leg kicks, trying to use that to get inside. But I just don't see Colby having much offense besides that. I think that he isn't going to be able to hold down Robbie or land big shots to the clinch. And I see Robbie doing more damage even with his back against the cage. And I think that if Robbie turns up, it could be dangerous for Colby, man. I think that if he comes in here and goes out there like savage, like he did against Down Cerrone, and puts the pressure on Colby and starts trying to take him out, I don't know how Colby's going to be able to stop that if he can't get constant takedowns and hold him down. Man, I think that my pick's going to be Robbie a first-round knockout or fifth-round knockout or split decision win for Robbie Lawler. I think that Robbie will have the couple moments where he has big flurries, he drops Colby, and I see Covington getting some takedowns, winning a couple rounds with volume where Robbie's taking it off with clinch control. And it's going to come down if the judges like that. Covington is holding him against the fence, controlling positions, or Robbie landing the shots, being stuck there. But, man, I think all the value here is on Robbie Lawler. I would cap this fight at like a pick-up, man, really, to be honest with you, because I just don't think that Colby is dangerous. I just don't see him as dangerous in this fight. I don't think he's going to be able to hold down Robbie and beat him up. He hasn't been able to. Who has he held down and beat up? I mean, even Dun Young Stun Gun Kim was able to stand up from under him. Javier Dos Anjos, it's not like he beat him up. I mean, it was like he didn't like do a lot of damage on him. And Javier is a lot smaller than Robbie, man. Robbie's a big guy. I don't know if he's going to be able to just control him against the cage like he did Dos Anjos. I mean, yeah, my pick's going to be Robbie Lawler. I think he's going to be motivated. I think he's going to be ready to go here. And I think I would lean towards first round knockout. If I did make a pick out of those three, I would say he's going to get a first round knockout here. And my pick's going to be Robbie Lawler to get it done. I picked Robbie Lawler last time against Ben Askren. I feel like I was like the only one that picked him to win that fight. Felt kind of cheated in the end of that. But we're going to give it another chance here as the underdog again, pretty substantially. And I don't agree with that at all. And yeah, so I'm going to pick Robbie Lawler to get it done. And my pick's going to be via first round knockout here. But for my most confident pick of the night, like I said, it's going to be Scott Holtzman. And for the parlay of the week, I'm actually going to do Meerschaert Haqparast and Mara Romero Borella. I feel like that's pretty safe. I actually really like Borella to get the win, even though some people might say that it's a low-level fight. I just feel like she's younger, she has more in the tank, and she's just more athletic, faster. I haven't really liked how Lauren Murphy's been looking in her last couple of fights. She takes a lot of damage, so it's kind of I'm confident that Borella's going to be able to get it done. So most confident pick of the night, like I said, Scott Holtzman, part of the week, Meerschaert, Borella. Make sure to check out that Dana White Contender Series video if you haven't watched it yet. Comment, like, subscribe on this video. Almost got to 100 likes last time, pretty close. So let's try to get to 100 likes this time. That would be sick. And been getting a lot of new subscribers, so thanks for that. What up? Introduce yourself in the comments. Say what's up. So if you're a new subscriber, tell me what you think I could do to improve. And I know I've been talking about I'm going to put out some new content a lot now, but I promise you I'm going to this week. I'm going to put out a couple different type of videos, so you guys will be able to see those. Tell me if you like them or not. And yeah, so that's going to be the breakdown for this week. So make sure to share this video as well if you like it, and retweet it, all that. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next week. So hopefully we can cash tomorrow and cash Saturday.